right, here we go. Testing out the, this is the Spartan Bio testing kit here. We're going to be testing out a sample for Legionella. So we're going to go ahead and start this. I'm going to run a test. So initial test showed 3.5 genetic units per milliliter, so we flushed and now we're retesting here. So we've got our address and then our source, kind of our top level asset, and then the actual spot within the location that we're testing. Next, we've already filled our sample bottle, so we can do that. Now we're going to scan, show that it's a valid test kit, and now we get to unpack all of the contents here. So this is what we will be using to prep the sample. And then these are the different steps in the actual testing process to prep our sample. So now we're going to follow along. This is the vial actually where the sample is going to end up that we will put into the cube. First we're going to prep it and follow along with our instructions here. So we're going to be moving this to the tube and check for crushed beads. Yes, we crush the beads inside our little vial. And now rotating this to the circle for the first step there. And we're actually going to be applying our sample into the prep unit here. So we fill the entire syringe like so, fill it all the way, and then we're going to be putting it into the yellow circle and plunging it all the way down. Okay, so now we've got our sample into prep. Continue to follow along here. We're going to be adding this white syringe into the same spot. Same thing. Adding that in, and then that's going to stay in place. Now we're going to rotate to our next position. So triangle clicks in place. And now we go to the blue syringe here that we are going to, it has a couple of steps to it. Insert it and then push it down past the resistance point and all the way in. And now we have to slowly pump this 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we'll move on to our next step. We'll turn the dial to the square now. And we're going to be inserting this screw into the black port, and this is actually what is going to put the water into the vial. Got to make sure that we get enough water into the vial and that we don't have a big bubble of air or anything like that. So tighten this down. Got water in there. Now we're going to align with number 3. So we try to keep this on the table and level. Now we're going to be removing this cap, and then this is actually going to be closing the sample off here. Now we can inspect our sample. So we close that off. So if that will focus, we've got water. There in our sample, we do have a little bubble. So I'm just going to give that a little hit there to get rid of the bubble and give it a nice, good sample there. So you can see we had the bubble there, now we've cleared it and it looks just like it does in the picture. So now is when we actually insert the test into the cube. Gotta align it correctly. Sits in there, close it up, and we can start our test. At this point, now it's going to take 45 minutes to run that test. So we just went through the process of prepping our sample, obtaining our sample. Now we prepped it, and now we've got it into small test file there into the Spartan Cube. It's going to run its test for 45 minutes, and then we'll get into some results of whether or not we have Legionella. We've waited our 45 minutes and we have the results. We got a not detected, which is a good result. We, in our first sample, took water directly from the hot water side of our bathroom here in the workshop, and the initial test showed 3.5 genetic units per milliliter, meaning that's above the threshold where we want to be for potable water. Anything over 1 genetic unit would be where we'd want to start to do that remediation, get rid of the Legionella. Anything over 10 is going to be a higher level concern, and anything over 100 genetic units per milliliter is going to be where we would, kind of lock it down and reduce exposure and have to do some serious remediation. The levels for the non-potable water side are going to be 10 times that. So anything over 100 starts to get more of a concern, and then anything over 1,000 would be that immediate action to take for remediation. So when we got our test of that 3.5 genetic units per milliliter, we flushed the hot water system, opened up the sink, let the hot water run for about 10-15 minutes, and then we took an additional sample, and that's what you're seeing the results here of not detected. So this is where we want to be on the potable water systems, is not detected. So you do get the results here, and then there's also a PDF of those same results there. Everything is logged within the Spartan Bio software, as well as having these PDFs that we can share out. So, really this was a surprise for us to test as a training exercise the water in our own workshop, then to actually see Legionella and have to go through the remediation process, flushing and retesting to make sure that we removed it. Really just goes to show why we're doing the testing in the first place, that Legionella is in pretty much every water supply. It's just at what level, and it could be anywhere in any of these buildings that you could find Legionella, especially where you have hot water and or dead legs or areas with less use than normal, or just not enough use to keep fresh water in that part of the system. So we have the Spartan Bio system available where we can provide this testing, and we're happy to come on site and provide that for you.